Let's go to page 200 and let's start with number 11. You have y equal to cotangent of 2x minus pi, and you want to go from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. So first thing you want to do is, again, get all your information. So a equal to 1, b equal to 2, so a, b, c, and k equal to 0. Now for tangent and cotangent, period is equal to pi, not 2 pi, it's pi over b, and instead of q, you're going to have the h. Okay, instead of q, you're going to have a half wave. So half is 1 over 2, so it would be pi over 4. Now over here, the s equal to negative c over b, so s equal to pi over 2, and you want to make into common denominator, so equal to 2 pi over 4. So once you do that, then let's go and start to do graphing. So first you need to do is get the direction. So cotangent is going from left to right. Okay, so first get your graph. And the cotangent start with the asymptote. So originally that's where your starting point is. And the starting point would be the value of s, which is 2 pi over 4. Okay, so it's 2 pi over 4. And the h is pi over 4. So this is 2 pi over 4, and each division is pi over 4. So this would be 3 pi over 4. And you go backward, this would give you pi over 4, and here give you 0. Okay. And notice right now it's too much that way, so I'm going to move everything over. So I'm going to make the axis right over here instead. So I'm going to make this. So you can shift it one entire period. Okay. And so here would be and k equal to 0, so we're all good. So this is 0, pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4. Okay. And this would be negative pi over 4, negative 2 pi over 4. Then next you have to do is you have to label your amplitude. The amplitude is a quarter point. So you just go over halfway over here, you go up and you go across. So wherever the intersection is, that's where it would be your A. So it would be 1, and you go down the same amount, and this would be negative 1. Okay. And so you can darken your graph. Okay, so this is number 11. Okay, let's go to number 12. Number 12, you have y equal to tangent of 2x plus pi. And you want to go from negative 3 pi over 4 to 3 pi over 4. Okay, so a equal to 1, b equal to 2, c equal to pi, k equal to 0, and period. Now again, tangent and cotangent, period is pi over b, and so instead of 2 pi you get pi over b, and then you have the h is half, so be pi over 4, and s equal to negative c over b, and again you want to make it into common denominator, so s equal to negative 2 pi over 4. Okay. So let's go to number 12. So first you need to go and get your directions. So tangent going from right to left. So tangent going from left to right, from right to left, and your starting point is in the middle. Cotangent starts on the asymptote. Tangent starts right over here. and that your starting point will have the value of the s. So over here s is negative 2 pi over 4. So that's your negative 2 pi over 4. And every division is pi over 4. So this will give you negative pi over 4. Here will be 0, and this would be pi over 4. 2 pi over 4. And you got 3 pi over 4. Okay, so from here, your axes would be right over here. And then you have to go back a little bit more to negative 3 pi over 4. Okay, and you can go and erase this little marking right over here. And to get the amplitude, again, you go halfway over here, you go up and over. Yes, so that's where that is. So it'd be 1, and you go back, go down the same amount. I'm going to move this 0 to a different place, put a 0 right over here, and this would be the negative 1. Okay. So that's number 12. Let's go to number 13. You have y equal to cosecant pi x minus pi over 2, and you want to go from negative 1/2 to 5 over 2. So first, you can get all the information. So you got a equal to 1, b equal to pi, c equal to negative pi over 2. So this one, cosecant is an inverse, is a reciprocal of the sine. So you want to pretend that you're graphing y equal to sine of pi x minus pi over 2. Okay, so again, so cosecant came from sine. So you want to kind of pretend that you're going to graph that. So you go through the same process. So k equal to 0, and so period equal to 2 pi over b, so 2 pi over b, and period will equal to 2, and q will equal to 2 over 4, right? Q means quarter, so just put over 4, and don't worry about simplifying yet. So s equal to negative c over b. So negative c over b, and keep track of your negatives. Multiply by 2 to simplify your complex fraction. So negative become positive. 2 and 2 cancel out. So you got pi over 2 pi. So s equal to 1 over 2. And so this one, if you were to simplify that, you will get the same denominator. Okay, so to graph that, let's go and do this. So number 13. Okay, so sine start with going uphill, so that's where you're going to start. And there will be the shift value, so it'd be 1/2. So 1/2 over here, so that's your starting point. And q is 1/2, so that means this would be 2 over 2, and this would be a 0. So that means your axis would be right over here. And since k equal to 0, then that's all that's it. So now you're ready to label everything. So this is 1 over 2, 2 over 2, 3 over 2, 4 over 2, 5 over 2. And when you go backward, here's your 0. Go backward, here's your negative 1 over 2. And to get the amplitude, again, none of the top, and draw the little hash over here. So your a equal to 1, so that's your 1 over here, and this would be your negative 1. Okay, so now this is the graph for the sine. Okay, so this is the graph for the sine. Now to get cosecant, you have to flip everything over. So that means you have to, when you flip the 0, right, 1 over 0 becomes undefined, so that's your asymptote. Okay, and over here, so you want to flip over the 0 so you get all the asymptotes. Okay, so first flip the 0 to get the asymptote, and then you need to go and flip over the graph. And so when you flip this over, you end up with these. Now remember, it does not touch the asymptote. Okay, so you want to start from the vertex and just go over, and this one here, and make sure it touches that point over here. So there should be no gaps. Okay, and that's it. So your graph is the blue. The blue graph is your answer. Okay, let's go to number 14. Number 14, you have y equal to secant of pi x plus pi over 2, and you want to go from -1 to 1. So again, you want to pretend that you're graphing, secant came from cosine, so you want to pretend you're graphing the cosine of pi x plus pi over 2. Okay. So a equal to 1, b equal to pi, c equal to pi over 2, and k equal to 0. The p equal to 2 pi over b, so period equal to 2, and q equal to 2 over 4. And now s equal to negative c over b, and multiply by 2, multiply by 2. So s equal to negative pi over 2 pi. So s equal to -1 over 2. So you simplify the q to match up your denominator. Okay, so now let's go and graph number 14. So 14, secant came from cosine, so you want to pretend you're graphing the cosine. So cosine start at the maximum height right over here. So that's the starting point for cosine. And that starting value will have value of the s. So it's -1/2. So this is -1/2. And the q is 1/2. So that means this would be a 0, and this would be 1/2, and -2 over 2, and so forth. So once you do that, then you can find your axes. So that's where the axes would be. Okay. And since there's no k, so the horizontal axis would be correct. And you want to go up to 1. Okay, so you need to have one more right over here. So you can erase all these. So you want to go from -1 to +1. So 0, 1 over 2, 2 over 2, -1 over 2, and -2 over 2. Okay, next, you need to go and flip the zeros over to make into asymptote. So this would be, you have to flip that over. So again, this is a graph for cosine, so you need to flip it over to get secant. Okay, and don't forget your amplitude. So over here, the a is 1. So this would be a 1, and this would be the -1. Okay, so now we're going to flip the graph over. You can start from your vertex and you go up. Okay, and that would be number 14.